evening, guys. This is Backstage Comedy's first ever stand-up show. Who's excited to be here? Really, guys? Who's excited to be here? Yeah. Well, the good news is that, guys, of tonight's show, 80% of it is going to be funny. The other 20% will be technical difficulties. My name is Emily Vanez, like Talia said, and I am 1/4 of the improvers at Backstage Comedy, a new show from ICTV, which is all about the funny. We've got short-form improv, as well as clips from stand-up around campus, including tonight. Yes, there are cameras in the audience, and we are recording tonight. Does that make everyone here a little bit famous? No, but we can pretend. It's fine. Okay, well, so tonight we have people from both IC Stand-Up and Comedy Club, so it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. Now, our first comedian was born in a volcano, but he's okay now. Please welcome John Shuda.
Thank you. I feel better now. Not a heathen. How's everyone doing tonight? We have a party crowd tonight? No, all right. I'll tell you about a party so you'll be well informed. I was at this party and I was talking to a girl and she was really interested in me. I don't know why, but I was working the old shoot at charm. And by the end of the night, I got her phone number and she really wanted me to text her in the morning. And so I immediately texted her the words, "in the morning." She said, "What is this?" And then I pooped on her. We've been married for 15 years. And we're hoping to buy a Winnebago sometime soon. We need to put our Beanie Baby collection somewhere. Yeah. But I like quirky girls. And by quirky girls, I mean blind chicks. That's what I'm into. So if I'm talking to a blind chick trying to run, I say something like, "Hey, you want it, bitch?" Then I'll throw a tennis ball to her seeing eye dog. If she likes it rough, I'll bring sandpaper. And if she likes it wet and slimy, I'll bring one of my used whoopee cushions. But I don't think I could ever go after deaf girls because I don't know how to say, "I swear this usually never happens" in sign language. All I know how to say is taco shower, which is not to be confused with taco sunshine, which is one of those. Or monkey knife fight. That's a thing. But I like this jacket because I think I look pretty smart in this jacket. I look like a college professor who's about to teach a class that has no relevance to the outside world. Like, for instance, today class will be welcome to Introduction to Pasta Art. We'll be discussing the socio-economic implications of combining ziti with pasta. And you get your choice of your favorite glitter today, so that's fun. Boy. But hey, Perry. What's going on? So I like to stay in shape. I have a strict workout regimen. I only do 2 push-ups every day, though. You're thinking, that's not going to do anything. But it will. Because I do 1 push-up to prove to my friends that I can do a push-up. And then I do a 2nd push-up to prove I can do more than 1 push-up. So for this next little bit, I'm going to need a volunteer from the audience. Anyone brave enough to venture up on the stage? All of you are very excited to be here, I can tell. Can I get a volunteer up on the stage, please? Yeah, that guy! What's that guy's name? Josh! Everyone, Josh! Give it up for Josh, everybody! The very lovely Josh with the side swipes things on his shirt. So Josh, I'm gonna do a magic trick. And what I need you to do, first of all, can you look through these plain white 2x5 index cards and show them to the audience to prove that they are in fact index cards. All right. So I'll take those back. So without me looking, I want you to pick an index card at random. Okay, show it to the audience, don't show it to me. Show it to the audience. Does everyone see it? Everyone see? Now, if you'll place it back anywhere, randomly in the pile. Okay. I'll say the magic word. Guadalajara! Is this your card? Thank you, Josh. Give it up for Josh, everybody! The very sexy Josh. What are you doing after the show, Josh? I don't care. All right. So I was on chat roulette the other day, and I don't want to brag or anything, but I got this guy to show me his penis. And show me his face. More feet! I typed. Ferociously. Like I said, I'm a very smart person. I took a class on Shakespeare last semester, and I think it's very interesting to note that Shakespeare came up with a lot of his own words. You know, he invented the word unreal, eyeball. He was the first person to stick those two words together and make a completely new word. He also invented the word Mitt Romney, Quaker steak and lube, Facebooking, the article the number 7. It went from 6 to 8 before then, you guys. How crazy is that? He also invented the word and pepperoni nipples is a Shakespeare original. All right. So, A-sound people. So I was born premature. A premature ejaculator? Show. We got a lot of great comedians coming on. Emily Menez, everybody.
Let's keep it going for John. That was pretty awesome. Okay, so our next comedian tonight is a very well-known member of IC Stand Up. Please welcome Alan Menzies.
Yeah! Give it up for me! Yeah, a little bit less, I like that. Me, let's stick on the important things. Yes, good. Now, I'm a TVR student. How many of you guys are TVR students? Like TV? Anyone not like TV? Fuck TV. Thank you. I agree, we'll get to that later. Now, number one of my favorite shows of all time, though, is The Price is Right. Anybody watch that show? Please tell me you guys have seen The Price is Right. It makes good if you've seen it at all. Woo! Yeah, it doesn't deserve as big applause as me, I agree. But no, I like Price is Right because it's a simple game, you know? You just spin some shit, you play some games, and then you win something. There's no agenda, there's nothing confusing, it's not trying to get you to do anything. And then Bob Barker comes on in the end, and he says, remember, spay and neuter your pets. How the fuck is that your #1 goal in life? Like, that's the agenda you definitely want to set. Like, seriously, did he go through a list like, well, it could be about world hunger. Fuck that. I don't know, what about, you know, euthanasia? Nah. Alright, what about animal mutilation? Fuck yeah. That's something I can get behind. I'm definitely down with that. Seriously, like, that's absolutely ridiculous. The only excuse that you could have for talking about my pet's genitals on TV is if it's a horrific event involving Tourette's. That's it. Everybody, have a good night. I hope you enjoyed the show. Cut off your animal's balls! You should not be going in every night telling me to cut off my animal's balls. No? No, we don't? Alright, fine. We're gonna get off animal's balls. Not too much to ask. Okay, yeah, I'm a TVR student. Who said fuck TV? Raise your hand. Yes! I agree. I think TV is the devil too. Why am I a TVR student? I don't have a joke about that yet. But one of my favorite shows that I think is really evil is called The Biggest Loser. You guys ever watch that? Yes. That is the most evil fucking show of all time. I want to know what the producers of that show looked like when they were coming up with that. Just like scratching their cats and looking through their monocles very sinisterly, like, we should make a show where we get a lot of fat people and then we'll torture them. What? How's that okay? And then the other producer's like, yes, but what if they feel good about winning? And then Satan kicks down the door and he's like, we'll just call it The Biggest Loser. And then he disappears in a cloud of smoke to do evil things with his goats or whatever the fuck that guy does in his spare time. This is recorded. I'm not allowed to say fuck. None of this is gonna get used. Fuck! I really thought I wasn't gonna swear that. I'm sorry, everybody. No, yeah, and like they try to make it inspirational, and it's so funny. Like, it's so funny. Like, oh, you lost 2 pounds. You're an inspiration to all mankind. Like, we didn't just see Jillian Michaels threaten to stab anyone if they got off the freaking workout machines. All right? Yeah, we're gonna keep with Jillian Michaels regardless of whether you laugh or not. But and now she's in GoDaddy commercials. That's funny, but I wish they had the balls to say what they are really doing. If you don't get GoDaddy, if you don't buy a GoDaddy domain name, we will release Jillian Michaels' boobs to the public, and it will destroy mankind. I mean, oh, that's a terrible joke. That's just a stupid joke. I want to talk about the issues, because that's why you go to a comedian. What is his opinions on global warming? I'm sure you're very curious. What a great place to get scientific information. I don't know anything about global warming, to be honest. There's a lot of information to say it's happening. There's a lot of information to say that it's not happening. But, regardless, I read an article that the lack of the polar ice caps have made polar bears come down and mate with black bears, which is breeding what, and I quote, super bears. Here's a piece of advice that I'm sure you're already taking, but if not, let me say this definitively. If anything you are doing could possibly create super bears, please, for the love of God, stop. This is not something we should even be gambling on. Next thing you know, we're going to be outside of our New York apartments, and boom, mauled by Super Bear. Super Bear doesn't give a fuck. How is this obviously not a big issue? So yeah, anti-global warming. Now, yeah, I don't know. This is completely unrelated, and I don't have a good segue, but whatever. You guys ever have that conversation when you were younger about, like, if you had to really go out, how would you do it? You know? And, like, the fat kid is like, I want to get drowned in chocolate. And, like, the pretty girl is like, I'm going to get buried in kittens. I had a favorite answer. My favorite was, I want to fall out of a plane. You know, just explode. But I don't like heights. I'm way more entertained with the idea of what the effects of landing would be. Because I'm going to go out completely naked, just falling out of the sky, like, and that is going to destroy someone's life. Like, poor little Timmy's riding around on his big wheel, and all of a sudden, an old person flies from the sky, splat! That kid is going to need therapy forever. I'm becoming immortal. And the news has got to just be ridiculous the next day after that, where it's like, old person explodes on Timmy's front yard. Irresponsible skydiving company should be sued, but that was freaking awesome! We're gonna let him do it. So again, in the theme of this is being recorded, and none of it can be used because it's all swearing, I'm just gonna say fuck it and do my joke about Satanism. We have any Satanists in the crowd? Give it up for him! Satan. Yeah, he probably doesn't deserve applause. But I think all people, regardless of whether you're Christian, like, or if you are a Christian, you should have at least a sort of respect for what Satanists are doing. Because there is no way it is practical that we keep giving him goats. Like, seriously, that's just gotta be fucking annoying for him. Just like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do with all these goats. The third ring of hell is all goats now because you keep sacrificing them to me. I've seen modern technology. I know you have the iPhone 4. Nobody's sacrificing me any of those. 300 years ago, that was a nice gesture, but now, somebody give me an Xbox. It's boring here. But thank you guys. You guys have been good. Have a good night.
Oh, hey guys. You're still here. Okay, so I like this next comedian so much that I hate him. Please welcome Mikey Heller.
So, my name is Mikey Heller, And I'll tell you that I think we should legalize it. I think I know you. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Get round of applause if you think we should legalize it. Round of applause. Are you excited? We're all talking about human trafficking, right? That's so you know how cobras look real different from the other snakes because they got those weird flaps of skins around their heads? Yeah. That's why I can never go skinny dipping. Because I'm afraid of cobras, obviously. So my parents are, they're getting a cat, which is fun. They're naming it Divorce. They keep telling me, Mikey, we're getting a divorce. I'm like, awesome name for a cat. It's gonna be fun when that cat gets here. All my life I've always just swallowed my gum, and it's never affected me. On a side note, I've never been to the bathroom. I don't want to change gears too much in that joke, but... so I just flew in, and boy are my arms tired from strangling hookers. Yeah, I don't actually strangle hookers, guys. I just, I hug them real tight until they go to sleep. And then I lay them on a waterbed, or as some people call the ocean. I submerged murdered prostitutes in the water, is what I'm trying to say. Subtext. So, don't you hate it when you leave popcorn too long in the microwave, and then you get a phone call telling you that your mother died? Because who likes burnt popcorn? I don't, right? Having some fun. So, I think we can all agree that ghosts don't actually exist. You hear that, Hamlet? It was a waste of time! Is he in heaven? I like iPads. I think they're pretty neat. I'd like them more if they were red, thick, cardboard, and full of Cheez-Its. By the way, I'm hungry. There's a guy back there like, yeah. iPads and Cheez-Its. So I actually have a twin, and we have a very strong connection. Weird twin connection, actually. When he feels a pain in his arm, I can feel my arm throwing the crowbar. That's what he gets for forgetting my birthday. As we're twins, huh? So, how dark do you want these jokes to get? Dark. Really dark? You want them the darkest they could be? Okay, you asked for it. Pitch black, this guy says? Okay. Let's step it back, man. So, yeah, alright, I'll start. You asked for it. So, the other day, I visited my father's grave. And I looked down at the grave and I said, yeah, can't hold a belt now. He made belts for a living. He was a very peaceful man. When he wasn't beating me half to death, whoa! Okay, so, we've all had a lot of fun here tonight, but I think it's kind of weird. I made a chart. This is all the subjects I went over that we all had a great laugh about. I think it's kind of strange that we're all having fun, and I just talked about modern slave trade, deformed dongs, I got sibling abuse here. I think it's kind of appalling, and you guys should be ashamed for laughing at all this stuff. I'm going to switch gears. This is my dog, Tommy. Yeah, I want to talk about my dog. You can leave now, Jen. See ya. That was my dog. He's 17 years old. 17. Yeah, plug for my dog. I want people to love him. Yeah. I can't wait to tell him. I can call him later. He's 17. He's been around longer than the movie Space Jam. Not many dogs know the pre-9/11 world. Mine does. He remembers the days when you could poop on your porch and not worry about the government reading your emails. And this coming election, he'll be 18. He will be alive. He won't be dead. He's never gonna die. Shut up. And he can vote. He's probably gonna vote for Obama. Or tummy rubs. One of the. He likes Obama's platform. He really likes having his tummy rubbed. So I'm gonna end on one more joke. Does anyone want to hear a joke that I actually wrote in a dream? Yes. I got 2 guys said yes. I wrote it in a. Okay, 5 people alarmingly said yes. This is a joke I wrote in a dream. This is absolutely true. I had a dream where I was writing a joke, and in the dream I'm like, oh, this is the most genius thing I've ever thought of in my life. And I woke up, I'm in like that weird semi-sleep, wake up, I'm like, oh my god, that was so awesome. And then I woke up that morning, and I literally remembered every single word of the joke, and it is absolutely dumb. And I'm going to do it for you because I think it's important. So here's the joke that I wrote in a dream. This is my impression of the scientist that invented werewolves. Ah yes, now that I have invented the werewolf, I have created the perfect girlfriend. She will have the loving heart of a human. She'll be a ferocious animal in the bedroom. And she will finally obey lunar doctrine. I'm Mikey Heller, thank you all very much. Good night.
Okay, so our next comedian is a member of Comedy Club and a fellow improviser on Backstage Comedy. Please welcome Ben Cohen. Woo!
Hello, everybody. I'm Ben Cohen, and I'm going to do something that I don't do very often. I'm going to do some impressions for you guys. And like I said, this isn't something I do a lot, so bear with me if it's not like exact. All right. That was my impression of the sink in my upstairs bathroom. That was the impression of the toilet in my upstairs bathroom. That was my impression of the toilet in the handicap stall in the first floor of the CNS. And finally, that was my impression of the third urinal to the left in the second rest stop in Georgia on I-95 South. Okay, so I've been thinking about it a lot, and I feel like life would be really enjoyable if you were both a sadist, a masochist, and an electric eel. Think about it. Do you all remember the time when, like, sweepstakes used to be on, like, cereal box tops instead of on the internet? Yeah, thank you. All right, so he remembers. I think we should bring that back. All right, so, someone once told me that you are what you eat. I guess that makes me a 12-year-old. I only eat 12-year-olds. And pie. Alright, so I spent 4 years at 2 different boarding schools. And you meet a lot of weird people at boarding school. And funny thing about weird people, they're weird. For instance, there were these 3 guys at my school that, like, one Saturday night, they were all in their dorm. They lived together, same room, and they were playing Risk. But they were playing Risk completely naked, like no clothes on whatsoever. There was just one guy like lounging on the floor, like head on his hands. Like there was another guy just like standing over the board, like looking over his strategy. Like, what do I do? There's a guy in an everywhere chair with his legs all over the place, lounging back. And it wasn't even like they were playing strip Risk, you know? It wasn't like, oh, I take over your country, you take off your pants. No, it was like, hey man, you want to play Risk? Yeah, sure, let me just take off my pants. Though I'm not really sure like strip Risk would make it much better. But anyways, it was all really, really awkward because like everyone kept walking by our room and like pointing and staring and laughing at us and I kept like yelling at them to go away, like leave us alone, this is not a zoo, but you know, they just wouldn't let us play our game in peace. Oh well, at least now I can cross nude Risk off my bucket list. as well as being stared at naked. All that's left now is skydiving with elephants, though I'm not sure that's legal. Though, another story, though this didn't actually happen to me. One night, my friend is walking back to his room, and he pulls back his curtains open. Oh right, at my last boarding school, we didn't have doors, we had curtains. And we didn't really have dorms as much as we had trailers. But so he walks into his room, his curtain is pulled back, the lights are completely off, and he hears a weird noise. So he turns on the light, and in the corner of the room, facing the corner of the room, is his roommate masturbating, standing up, facing the corner of his room. And at the sight of the lights being turned on, his roommate turns around, looks at him, and the words that come out of his mouth, and this is verbatim, no paraphrasing, verbatim, "Would you like to see my penis scabs?" And I am baffled, not at the fact that that is the first thing that comes out of his mouth after being captured masturbating, but that there's an S at the end of that word. That there are more than one of those scabs. All right, I will not leave you on that note, don't worry. So, I have a mom and I love her very much, but she has this habit of not thinking at all before she says things. And it's very, very funny for me. She has asked a woman who is not pregnant when the baby's due, not once, but twice. And many other hilarious ensued moments like that. And so one day, at my first boarding school, my parents picked me up, we're going to lunch, we're eating at Friendly's, and we're having a good meal, and there's a silence. It's not an awkward silence, but a silence. I'm chewing my burger, and my mom's staring outside, and I'm staring outside, and there are these two women smoking cigarettes in the parking lot. And my mom looks at me and my dad, and she says, the boarding school's in Maine, I should say that. But she goes, I guess that's all there is to do in Maine. Smoke cigarettes and be a lesbian. And that's my mom. Thank you very much. I'm Ben Cohan. Have a good night.
Let's get another round of applause for Ben. Okay, so our next comedian placed second at the stand-up competition. She's a very funny lady and she's lovely. Please welcome Miss Perry Gross.
Hi. So, I just received a friendly email from the registrar letting me know that I am not graduating in May 2012. Hashtag senior year. And I chose to be an art major. And also, I'm just gonna hunt down those biddies that messed up my shit. Anyways, that was just a rant. That wasn't stand-up. That's just me being really mad and crying to several people on the phone today. I recently got an iPhone, and now I could find out instantly when I get rejected from all the jobs I apply for. Yeah. So, since I'm a senior, well not anymore, I have like 6 more years to finish those 6 credits. When I was home for break, people would just ask me, what are your plans? And like all my friends would be like, yeah man, like, I'm just gonna travel, just gonna go to like so many places, and like other people would be like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna go to LA, I'm just gonna make it. And like when people would ask me, I'd be like, yeah, I just have a lot of night sweats because I'm really anxious about being unemployed. So either I'm gonna be unemployed or I'm going through menopause. Probably menopause. Speaking of menopause, I'm Jewish. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hanukkah. It's a holiday that's around Christmas. But for Hanukkah, we have these candies. They're like these little like gold coins. And like for Christmas, like you have like candy canes and like gingerbread men and like gingerbread houses and like all that stuff. But like for Hanukkah, there's like one candy. And this candy, I don't know what Jewish people were thinking when they made up this candy. Because they're just like Jewish coins. So you're just like at Hanukkah, like spinning the drill, and you see like a bunch of Jews just like gobbling up like gold coins. And like then they just get really mad when everyone calls them greedy. So like that needs to be changed. I was in Brooklyn this summer, and this guy came up to me and we started talking, and I asked where he was from, and he said he was from the Soviet Union. Some things never change. So I was in an elevator over the summer, and a man told me that I smelled good. An old man. Have a thing for old guys.
Yeah.
I babysit a lot, and I get really anxious when like the little girl asks me to play house with her, because she's always like, okay, like, you know, I'm gonna be the sister, and like, you know, my brother's gonna be the brother, and you're gonna be the mom. And I'm like, no, like, I don't want to be the mom. Like, why are you putting this responsibility on me? Like, I'm not ready to be a mom. Like, what is this? Like, I don't have a job, I don't have a husband, I don't have a family, I don't have a house, I can't pay a mortgage. And then I start to cry. She gives me a lollipop and tells me, it's okay, Perry, you can be the dog. So I get mistaken for being a lot younger than I usually am. And I was a camp counselor a couple summers ago, and it was like 5th grade swim time. And I'm like with all the 5th graders, they're all getting in the water, and the lifeguard like above was like, all right, you get in the water. I'm like, no, like I'm a counselor. He's like, no, get in the water. I just jumped in. I don't like to start fights. So over break, when I was applying for all the jobs that I can't apply for now that I'm going to be here for another 20 years to finish my H&S elective, I wore a suit to my job interviews because I looked at least 17 wearing a suit. When I was in the city, I was sitting at a restaurant with my friend, and this woman comes up to me. She's like, oh my God, like, are you that actress from that movie Little Manhattan? I was like, no, but that's so cool. I've never had anyone think I was like a real actress before, like my first doppelganger. Like, yeah. So like go home, like Google Little Manhattan. It's the story of 2 8-year-olds that fall in love. I'm waiting for Little Manhattan 2 to come out. The adolescent years, I think I can get the part. I went to my local gynecologist over break. Thanks. You must really want to have sex with me. So I was like, you know, like, I told my gynecologist, you know, like, I'm in a relationship now, like, kind of, like, finally go on birth control. She's like, no, like, you can't go on birth control, like, none of that. I'm like, all right, and then as I'm leaving, she's like, so, like, when's your 15th birthday? I've been seeing her for 5 years. So she, like, thought I was coming to her at, like, age 10, or I am so young that the concept of time does not apply to her. So I decided what I'm gonna do when I graduate is I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be on Teen Mom. When I'm 35 and having my 2nd child. And I'll be happily married, like no one will know, I'll be like my 2nd kid, have like a nice husband, a nice house, a nice family. But I'm gonna go by Tiffany, spelled T-I-55-A-N-I. You can follow me on Twitter, #, and that's how I'm gonna make it. And that's all I have, so thank you very much.
Stand-up. Please welcome the lovely Mariana Garces.
My name sounds so Spanish. Exotic. How you guys doing tonight? Doing a good crowd, finally. Do you guys ever play Sims? I'm pretending this because I was a middle schooler with less than 5 friends who played Sims. I was telling my friend the other day that online shopping would be so much better if I had the Sims shopping music. You remember it was like, and it just made you could shop for hours, you could buy anything, from like a pool table to like a lava lamp. Like Sims, you were crazy. I could just buy anything I wanted and just press Rosebud. Remember? Rosebud? Rosebud. Never has a word like that. Has so much meaning. Rosebud. The Sims. You can't ever deny playing The Sims because you could build your own house, design your own family, You could even have a pool, and then you could drown your whole family in that pool. Tell me that's not every 13-year-old girl's dream. Speaking of 13-year-old girls, you ever watch the Disney Channel too? Big fan, big fan. I don't like what they've done though with Edgar Allan Poe's work, because I don't really think he'd appreciate what they've done with That's So Raven. You know, That's So Raven was originally intended, the part was intended to be played by a sassy black psychic bird. There's this place back home in New Hampshire, little old-fashioned, owned by this little couple, but I think they're trying a little too hard to appeal to a younger crowd, because the last time I was there, they had a sign outside the window that said, "We proudly serve Jews and queers." But it's good to know Jews and queers are coming to New Hampshire now, finally. I'm reminiscing so much up here, Disney and Sims. And Lunchables, guys. Can we get a round of applause for Lunchables? Oh man. For some reason, Lunchables were like the best freaking thing out there. They were better than everything. You got them for like, you only got them as a reward for a field trip or a special occasion. Like your parents were getting divorced and you get a good Lunchable. But it was like, for some reason, stacking those cold cheeses and meats onto a cracker was infinitely better than like Mom's PB&J. Because that was all my mom made. I don't know what your mom made. My mom did once try to cook one of my Lunchables, and that did not go very well. She's not a very good cook. And I had to eat a warm pizza. That was the worst Lunchable of my life. Cooked Lunchables. Speaking of other things that are deliciously Lunchable, I was at this fine restaurant, Chili's. I had to go to the bathroom and I asked, "Where's the little girl's room?" But I think I took a wrong turn. And I ended up in the little women's room. And it was not a pretty sight. Everyone was crying. Jo had just cut off her hair. And it made it extremely awkward to pee. Last week, I consider myself a little woman, I guess. Last week I forgot to shave my legs for like a week straight. If I can get anybody sympathizing with me. It's winter. It's winter. What are you gonna, I don't know. But I found out there's a club on this campus that condones that kind of thing. And it's Icy Feminists. They condone my laziness, and I think I'm just a feminist by default. And I know one thing for sure is I'm never going back to being a humanist. Thanks, you guys. You've been great.
Our next comedian, whoa, that's loud. Our next comedian is a member of Comedy Club. Please welcome Austin Sharfstein.
So guys, have you noticed that when you go on worse porn sites, you get worse viruses on your computer? Like some kind of like internet STD? And then if you watch really messed up porn, you get like cyber AIDS. Computer dies. A friend of mine was trying to think of the kind of porn that would get you cyber AIDS. And Tyler and I came up with reverse POV. If you know what POV is, it's when the guy's like holding the camera, so it's like you can see from his point of view. But this is when the girl's holding the camera and you just see. I have this thing called the beard test. Changing gears. I have this thing called the beard test. And it's to judge if you should stay with your girlfriend or not. So about 3 months into the relationship, I grow a really like weird, absurd beard. And based on her reaction, I judge if I should stay with her or not. So if she doesn't like it and she gets angry, gone. If she lies about liking it, gone. If she actually likes it, that's weird, gone. So basically it's a good excuse to break up with your girlfriend. No, but being serious, I have a long-term girlfriend, going on 2 years now. Doing the long-distance thing here, and I think she's on the other side of the country, on the West Coast. So what we do is we Skype a lot, and she likes to try to keep it interesting, doing like the sexy Skype thing, and I'm really bad at it. She's good at it. She'll be like, I'm gonna kiss you on your neck, and go down your chest, and all the way to Jake. Jake's my penis, I named it, she did. And I'm like, I totally have a boner! Look, I'm typing and I'm not using my hands. Fucking dies. You can get head whenever you want. All you need is peanut butter. All right, on that note, have a great night, guys.
I have a question for all of you. How many of you have seen the sure-to-be classic, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipwrecked? Yeah, it is a classic movie. We were discussing the symbolism and literary content of it in my film A&A class, and then it occurred to me, there are so many adventures that Alvin and the Chipmunks should still go on. You've seen them in concert. You've seen them in 3D, but now, for the first time ever, see them on acid? From the people that brought you Shrek 4, Tangled, and Bleh, comes this summer's ultimate coming-of-age story, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Let's Take a Trip. On that note, please welcome the hilarious Max Barth.
Hey guys. Sorry, I wrote out my jokes. Which one's the starting one? Shit. No, fuck. I was gonna talk about a bunch of wacky stuff, but I had a bit of a breakdown. Someone did something so nice to me today. Okay, you know when you do a paper and you turn it in late, and it's like a mistake anyone could make, and it's only like 2 hours late, and it doesn't matter. And my teacher, so nice, met me halfway. He's supposed to give me a 0 because it's late. Halfway, gave me an F. I was like, thank you. That is so nice of you. He put it in the comments. I should give you a 0, but I'm going to be nice. You know what being nice is? Being nice. I think if you're nice to someone, they should walk away thinking, that was nice. I walked away thinking, what the fuck? He was like merciful. You can't write that as a teacher comment like, this is a great story, I'm going to give you a 6.5 out of mercy. And mercy's kind of like kindness except like -10. It's very close to kindness, but kindness does that extra, like kindness would be Jesus on the cross 1 day, the beach 2 days, back to the cross, wrap it up. You know? Mercy is, oh, let's just make it only 4 days. I don't know. That's God. He's an angry Italian. He can't stand it. Oh, where's my 4th joke? Shit. I apologize if anyone sees a video of their set and I'm in the crowd right there going into the mic because I just couldn't stop myself. Talking about Jesus. What was that? Someone go, pfft. Is it you, Pat? You're blushing. You, my man. Talking about Jesus. So the communion wafer, I never ate them because I was unconfirmed. I was sort of, it's like a Facebook maybe. They weren't sure. I haven't confirmed yet. I had an impersonal relationship with God. I knew him, I didn't know him, you know? But the communion wafers, they're literally supposed to be like Jesus bits, right? And it's probably, and the blood too, right? You drink that, but let's just talk about the bits for now. I buy the blood, not sure about the bits. If I had nickel for every time I said that. So, but you're not gonna if you have to eat Jesus, if you're going hiking and it comes down to that, and he loses it 400 hours style or whatever, you're not gonna just waste Jesus bits, right? So who gets the dick, you know? I was hoping the camera was gonna be on me, so there'd be a cut of me going, who gets the dick? I put it in a reel, not even with the context, just me going, who gets the dick? And then it flips the other way, who gets the dick? But someone must eat Jesus balls. You can't make some kind of awful Jesus spam. Just the lips and assholes. Jesus lips and spam and assholes. So the registrar forgot my address all of a sudden, and I feel like I can threaten them now. Hello, officer, there's someone who's angry that we're terrible at our jobs. Where does he live? We have no idea. I would say he was going to be in Friends, but Homer Connect's not working, of course. Yeah, fuck him. Is anyone doing any group projects? Did anyone meet to do some group projects? Yeah, I guess not. That's good. Are you sure you're not doing a group comedy project? Because you should write that down. Sorry, guys. All I have left is written on my hand, and it says Faggoty Ann. Now, give me a second. Give me 1 second, okay? They used to have to make them out of sticks before the Depression. And so even JFK, where's my Faggoty Ann doll? I've been watching a lot of the Kennedys. Sorry. You like this Kennedy stuff? I mean, not like this Kennedy stuff, but this Kennedy stuff. Okay. Is there anything you want me to talk about? Because I've got something about Fox News, but I feel like you'll agree with me about that, so. I don't want to be like, oh, it's Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, it's going to work. He can suck our hemp balls, which were outlawed by British balling interests. British balling interests, which is also a rap group from England. But yeah, just do a little show. What's been on your mind lately? Anything in the news that you've been thinking about? Current events, old events, middle events. Anyone? News with an N? News? It's like you send away for it, they say, hey, here's what happened. You know, like news, like, oh man, this happened. You know what I mean? Like news? Okay, that's fine. It's tough. Hey everybody who's not learning science or math, let me save you $100,000. You're not always right. Do you know what? Like you're sitting in an H&S class, someone's like, I came here thinking that. What about this? Maybe you're not always right. Can we leave? Thank you. We're done. We're done. You're not always right. And even when you're right, you're probably wrong. Like, to some people, you're wrong. And some things are, like, really right. Like, but you kind of know those things already. You don't need to take classes. I mean, I'm doing it, but that's because I'm a hypocrite, which is wrong. Do you guys think it's okay to cite acid trip as a source on your paper? Like book sources, internet sources, the source. Anyway, I'll say something about this next comedian. She's a good friend of mine. You guys have been great, by the way. Thank you. This next comedian, as JFK said, ask not what Nikki Black can do for you. Ask what Nikki Black can do at all. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, I'm Nikki Black. Who has a dog? I like dogs. I have a dog. Wow! Yeah, saw that one. My dog's name is Don Patch, and he does this thing. It's really great. He does this thing where he's completely idiotic. He's just really dumb. And the other thing that he does is that sometimes he sits on the couch, and his most relaxed state is when he's like up against the couch, and he makes this face. And he just scans. Like, it's either the look is saying, I can't believe everything that has transpired in this house within the 3 years that I've existed, or like the look that fish give you where they just want to let you know that they're not thinking anything. But I always have to tell my dad that he doesn't understand English. Not my dad speaks English, but my dog doesn't speak English. But there's like lights on the ceiling, and sometimes my dog looks at them and he gets really afraid and he starts barking, and my dad goes, "Stop it! Stop barking at the lights on the ceiling! They've always been there!" But like, all my dog hears is like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," which is the same as like, "Oh my God! What is on the ceiling? Keep making noise!" It's like I'm not gonna say, "Don Patch, don't have an erection every time I eat waffles," because my dog doesn't know what waffles are. He only knows what delicious is. Can't speak English to a dog, you can only speak love. Speaking of dog erections, or just everybody's erections, I'm a little bit jealous. And I'm not jealous that I don't have a penis, but I am a little bit jealous of the relationship that I feel like guys tend to have with their members. I mean, you name it, what, like the Death Star or Jake? You stroke it, I assume. You probably talk to it when you're lonely. That's a pet. That's a best friend. My vagina is like the roommate I'm afraid to talk to. It's like, sometimes it's cool. Sometimes I come home and I'm like, "Hey, look what I got at the store." And she's like, "Oh, that looks fun. Let's do that." Or sometimes I like bring a guy home and she's like, "I like him." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is a good vagina roommate time." Sometimes I come home and there's blood all over the floor. And she's like, "Shove cotton in me." And I'm like, "Why? What do you just do it all week? Shove it in there." And I'm stop doing that. I can't talk to you now for a week, vagina roommate. This kid was talking to me about my vagina because he was saying that I'm a heartbreaker. And the thing is like, I don't mean to ruin lives. I just always do. Because I'm a stone cold fox and because I'm really bad at human interaction. But he was asking me if I had one of those vaginas that ruin lives. And I was like, "I don't know, can I get tested for that? Like, how do I find out?" And he's like, No. It's like, I've seen this before. Like, a guy can even just look at it for like a second and it's over, he's crazy, his life is done. And this girl turned around and she said, "Are you guys talking about heroin?" And like, that's the first time my vagina has been confused with heroin. But like, out of all the drugs, really? Like, nobody's ever like, "Oh, but the Beatles were on it that one time and they wrote that." No, that's not heroin. Nobody likes heroin. I wouldn't even get like a gateway vagina PSA. Like, nobody would be like, "It's a slippery slope." Sometimes. So I'm really bad at being a person. This Hispanic woman asked me what country I was born in the other day, and I said Nueva Jersey, which translates into New Jersey, which is not a country. Sometimes I forget to eat. I shower like once every 3 days. I almost went to the gym last week. I got like really close, but then my boyfriend and we met up and talked about it, and then we were like, why don't we just walk over and see how we feel? As if we were gonna feel any better about it from the distance from the pub to the gym area. And then we stood outside for like 5 minutes and we had a cigarette, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I was like, let's just go inside and we'll look. And of course it's like a circus where everyone looks better than you. It's like everyone has congregated there to remind you that you were never good at sports. And there was this girl doing the thing where, you know, you stretch, and her head was in this area, and her arms were, she was like some kind of contortionist prostitute beast. And she was giving my boyfriend like sexy eyes through her legs, and I was like, we have to go. I can't be around people. I need to jog like a deer in the wild. But then I forgot that anytime you start doing this in public, like anybody else that is doing that like has to say hi to you. They have to wave. Like you're all part of a club where people like to go a little bit faster. And it's like, I wanted to be alone. Like, do you think deer wave to each other in the woods? I don't think so. I think every once in a while a deer looks at another deer and he goes, who is that man? I think that's as far as deer communication goes. But like, they don't wave. And there was this girl, and she was all the way at the end of the path, and I could just see her. And she was just so happy. Just so happy to be outside and running and with nature and with deer. And she had her North Face and her scarf and her spandex pants, and she was just loving life. And I knew she was gonna say hi to me, and I really didn't want to even look at her because she looked great, and I felt like I had a raccoon animal clawing its way to freedom via my abdomen. And so as soon as she got close to me, I just stopped. I refused to look at her. And then, but when she was passing me, I still heard that she had like this insane techno music going, like just boop, 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 like all the way down the path. And I thought, oh my God, she thinks she's saving the world from like robot overlords. And then I thought that's probably the only way that I could convince myself to run regularly is if I thought that it was going to save the world one day. But otherwise, I guess I'll try techno music. Sometimes I think I spend too much time on Facebook, and sometimes I think Facebook spends too much time on me. I have this one album, and it's like part of the title is In a Bathroom, and Facebook keeps asking me, did this happen in a bathroom? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want you to like explicitly know that. I only want you to assume that it happened in a bathroom, Facebook. And like, I didn't think it was a huge problem until I had this dream. And I was riding on this fantastical laptop bike, and I was Facebooking while I was riding, and right in front of me was the most adorable 3-year-old girl I'd ever seen in my life. But before I could stop the bike, I had been distracted by Facebook, so I ran her over, and she died. And she died in this, like, her body exploded. I had to pick the guts out of my tire spokes, like, horrifying way. But I thought, oh my God, Dream Nikki, you're safe. Nobody saw that. Got back on my laptop bike, logged into Facebook again, and my status was set to Nikki has just hit, and then it had a picture of the little girl. I was like, God, Facebook, like, nobody was gonna know. Like, I was in the clear. Damn it. Thanks. Good job.
Yeah. All right, our next performer is not only a talented comedian, but he's an excellent writer on Backstage Comedy. Please welcome Mike Piazzak. Something. Yeah, pronunciation.
All right, you're obviously not familiar with Polish people. Thanks. I see how you got confused. There's no ski at the end. Yeah, so I'm Mike. This is my first time doing this, so I will suck, but not in a homosexual way. I don't really know how to start this thing off. Like, I feel like it's like the first day in elementary school. You know, you're going around, trying to get to know everybody. Well, that or an AA meeting, and I'm the awkward new guy. Just one, you're saying like, hi, I'm Mike, and I've been 2 weeks sober, and the other one is, hi, I'm Mike, and I like apple juice because it makes me fart. So speaking of elementary school, my voice dropped in 4th grade. which is exciting, and I was the man then. Not anymore. I'm not special. But ever since then, my idol has been the movie guy. But I figured, like, that guy has to have a family, and that's just got to get annoying after a while. Like, Dad, where are we going on vacation? This summer. Get ready for the ride of your life. Camping. Only one will make it out alive. So, what? But alternatively, like, I think having someone like Antonio Banderas as your dad would be great. Like, oh man. Sorry, I have this thing for my dad. No, I'm just kidding. But like, he can say anything and it's hilarious. Not hilarious. It's interesting. Like, he could just be like, the other day, I was drinking agua. And that's the end of the story. That's all he has. And everybody will, the next day they're going to come over and be like, Antonio, can you please tell the agua story again? And he'll be like, sí. And that's the end of that story. He doesn't actually tell it, and that's it. And he's just the best storyteller ever. But I like kids. I think they're great in bed, right? Right? Uh-huh. No, I'm just kidding. I think kids are great in bed. But I was doing this community service thing, you know, to get into college. And I was reading to a bunch of kids. I was reading Chicken Little. And I got to the point of the story where Chicken Little wanted to go and warn the farmer that the sky was falling. So I was reading it out loud, and I said, you know, so Chicken Little went up to the farmer and said, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And then I asked the students, I said, what do you think the farmer said back to him? And this little girl raised her hand, and I picked on her. I didn't pick on her, that'd be awful. Raising her hand, you're so dumb and blonde. No, I called on her, and she said, I'm pretty sure the farmer would say, holy shit, a talking chicken. And, you know, I did what every, you know, good school teacher would do. I slapped the bitch. There'll be no fucking swearing in my classroom. So let's see. Let's take a look at the notes here. Oh, that's helpful. All right. So I was on GarageBand, right? I plugged my guitar in. I was doing some recording with my friend, and I thought it was really weird because there's amps and there's presets and everything, and one of the presets is called the Fuzz Machine, which is really weird because that's like my girlfriend's nickname, and I'm just kidding. I don't have a girlfriend. Only in my dreams. So I saw something really weird on campus today. An Asian person. And I said, sorry, sir, Cornell's that way. I know, it's the wrong hill, I know. So speaking of Asians, sprinkles. They're not related, I don't have a segue. That's all right. But I was at Terraces, and I was confronted with this problem, you know, chocolate sprinkles or LGBT sprinkles. Oh, I'm sorry, that's offensive. I know, LGBTQ, forgot about the Q. All right, that's it, that's all I got, thanks.
So, my mortal enemy decided to stop by the show tonight. He's the sassy host of Backstage Comedy. Please welcome Kyle Vorbach.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. I'm gonna be trying out some new jokes up in this bitch. Isn't it weird that we're all in a bitch right now? This is all one big bitch. We're all inside of it. The pub's a bitch. Isn't that freaking weird? I'm new around here, around these parts. Been here for around 2 weeks, you know, spring semester. Funny story, you're gonna like this. I was gonna come here in the fall, but right before the summer, I was diagnosed with cancer. That's true. You're allowed to laugh at that. I'm not a dick. But don't laugh too hard. That's offensive. But, you know, I spent all summer getting chemotherapy up in this bitch. First of all, I'm fine. I'm fine, everyone. That's why I'm here. But I got chemotherapy up in this bitch. You know, not this bitch. This bitch. two different bitches. This is a bitch and this is a bitch. These are two different bitches. It'd be weird if I got chemotherapy up in this bitch, you know? It's like campus center, you know? If I was gonna get chemotherapy, I'd go up to terraces. Like, come on, guys. It was testicular cancer. You look so, like, alarmed. I'm okay. Like, I really am. I promise. Thank you for the concern, though. I really appreciate it. It was testicular cancer. I could say that. But I know they're recording this. Testicular cancer is a medical term, but this is going to get offensive in a second. I had to get my left ball taken out, and that sounds horrifying to every guy here. They're like, I want my balls. I like them. I keep them here. This is where I keep my balls. But I had to get my ball removed. I had to get my ball removed, actually. I had to get my ball removed. I had to get my ball removed. He keeps his balls here. And, you know, it hasn't really affected my life too much, but, you know, the one thing I actually do with it is I use it to offset my weight while running, much like a lion does with its tail. So it makes, like, hunting gazelles on the Serengeti Plains, like, no biggie. It's so easy. But I'm not condoning only having one ball. I mean, it's not all great. Like, I hope everyone here has two balls. Not everyone. Probably just around half of you. Actually, I don't know half of you. I don't know what the demographic is. I don't know if it's like more girls than boys or like many more. Or Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore's a girl. My girlfriend's a girl. My girlfriend's a girl. I checked. That's what that was all about. I was checking. She's nice. She has you know, she has boobs. Girlfriend has boobs. She's boobs in the face. You know, that's you know, like that's how I like them. Like, you know, no balls, boobs in the face. That's how I like my girls. Now you're not as angry. You're like, I have boobs in the face. But yeah, she has no balls, boobs in the face. That's what I look for. Because some guys have no standards. I'm looking at you. This is not about you guys. I know you. I happen to be like straying over here about like the balls and the standards. But some guys have no standards at all. You know, like they will just have sex with everything that walks by them. I mean everything. And I barely have sex with anything. You know. Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I've had sex with a couple things. Like, I know you're like, he's never had sex with anything. I've straight up fucked the PlayStation one time. Memory card slot 2 on a first date. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Don't interrupt me. I'm new here. That's what I was trying to talk about, being new here. You were like, why? I'm new here. First day of college is just like the first day of school in the sense that no matter how much your parents shelter you, like no matter how much they create like an ideal world that they want you to grow up in, the first day here, your mind is just like exploding outwards, you know? Like I'm looking at you now too. You guys are my audience right here. I'm sorry, you guys. These guys are having good seats. First day here, your mind just explodes outwards. You're like completely overwhelmed with like, oh, this is what college is like. Like first day here, I saw people smoking. I saw people drinking. I saw people doing Jello shots off endangered species. It was freaking nuts. So, and you know, that's just like the first day of school ever. I remember the first day of school ever. I wasn't there for that. My first day of school ever was I rolled up in my whip. Rocking stunner shades from Mac and Biddies. And that's how I do. I tweeted bling swag, hashtag bling swag. It trended like fuck. But because the fans couldn't have done it without you guys. I went to preschool. I rolled up in my whip to preschool, and I walked in. And the thing is, the only show I watched as a kid was Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye, science rules. Bill Nye the Science Guy was the only show I watched as a kid. Because my parents, they like showed me Bill Nye existed, so I watched it. And I mean, like, I'm an only child, so I am everyone. So everyone was watching Bill Nye. I thought that was the social norm. So I show up my first day of preschool, rolled my whip, come through the door, I'm like, science rules, molecules! And everyone's outside just beating the shit out of each other with Power Rangers swords. You know, 2 kids are playing with guns. Another kid combined with a truck to become a dinosaur. That's what he did. So I'm just standing there with my like volcano eruption experiment with the baking soda, you know. And this was my only friend through high school, which is me and Erupto. That's what I named him. I named him Erupto. It's weird as shit. But you know, middle school wasn't too much better. High school, it goes preschool, high school, middle school. That's normal, right? middle school, I developed this problem sweating in my armpits. I'm just so open with you guys. I'm glad we could talk like this. Just developed the problem sweating in my armpits. So it was bad. You could see it through my shirt. I was really embarrassed by this. You look questioning again. Yes, I did. You want to feel? Like it's gone. Okay, okay. I had this problem sweating in my armpits. So what I did, I devised a brilliant scheme where I put toilet paper, and wadded the toilet paper, put it in my armpits, thus drying the water. Brilliant plan, right? I'm a genius. Nobel Peace Prize. Bring it. I did this. First of all, sweating's weird. Sweating's weird because everyone on Earth sweats. Everyone on Earth sweats. Everyone on Earth poops, but nobody wants to see you sweat, and nobody wants to see you poop. And it's like, I want you to see me poop. I want you to see me poop. Watch me poop. But so I didn't sweat anymore because of the toilet paper in my armpits. So what I did, first of all, girls would come up to me. They'd be like, hey, Kyle, could you grab that book off that top shelf? And I couldn't because I had to keep the toilet paper in my armpits with my arms. So they asked me to do this. I had little baby T-Rex arms. I couldn't grab it. Little baby T-Rex arms. So I'd reach, and I was completely useless. This hot girl comes up to me in a library where bookshelves exist. Books on shelves are always in a library. She comes up to me. She's like, hey, could you grab that book off that shelf for me? This is a different girl. Because everyone comes to me for bookshelves. It's just like, bookshelf guy. So they come up to me, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to grab that goddamn book. She needs it. She could read. Girls can read. Did you know that? I go and grab the book. Pants are coming off. Not yet. I go and grab the book, and all the stuff falls out of my armpit. All the toilet paper, just Christmas comes out of my armpit. And see, this brings us, first of all, the girl's disgusted. She goes and like runs and like tells Lindsay Lohan or something. But this brings us back to where we were, where I couldn't raise my armpit because of the sweat. Because like it wasn't just like sweat, it wasn't just like a couple drops. You know, it wasn't just like a little bit. It was like, it would I would raise my arm and it would shoot out of my armpit. Just shoot out like a gun out of my armpit. I'd raise my arm, just a jet of sweat, like a sweat jet. Sweat jet came out of my armpit. What my friends and I would do, this is true, we would put beer cans up on a shelf, and I'd raise my arm, and it would shoot the sweat jet at it, and if I hit more than 2, I'd get a blowjob from a horse. What the hell was that, you guys? I didn't do that. Yes, I did. Yeah, this is supposed to be not offensive. Wouldn't it be a fun job to be the guy whose job it is? His job is to be the guy whose job it is to type in, he programs which words are too offensive for your usernames. Because all he does, he has to be ahead of the power curve. Because people come up with like new creative ways to talk about buttholes and stuff. So he has to come up with what they're going to say next so he could block it. Because computers don't know what swear words are. So all he does is sit there all day, Dick Spank, and just types it in the computer. Now no one's going to be using the username Dick Spank on Neopets. I was in Walmart the other day. My friends and I, we were there to buy Pokemon cards because life is short and we wanted to spend it playing Japanese trading card games. So we bought all these Pokemon cards, but we decided not to go through the conventional aisle because we didn't want the guy who's checking us out to be judging us while we purchase our things. Because like he doesn't know we got some dope-ass Pokemon cards. You know, they're all fucking like holographic Charizards. That was some dank shit. But so we decided to go through the self-checkout thing. And if you've ever seen people in the self-checkout lane, they look. They don't know what the hell it is the thing. So they just look at it, inch closer. And you know what they're like? They're like ancient human beings who discovered a crashed alien spaceship like 100,000 years ago because they're looking at it and go up to it. And like 2 guys are crouching because that helps them figure out what things are. Because they crouch, like, have you ever done a math test? Just do that. And they come up to it, one guy posts it, opens a place item, and bang, freaking like, what the hell was that thing? And Congress is just letting this happen. Congress is just letting them put alien spacecraft in our Walmarts. And the second you say anything about that, oh, you're not a patriot, you're a socialist, pizza's a vegetable. And what I'm trying to say is, I hate when dogs have penises. I hate when dogs have penises. You know? That's what that was all about. Because the thing is, dogs don't wear pants. So their penis is always out. That's how they are, naturally. They do not wear pants, right? Right? Your dog doesn't wear pants. I could tell. Your dog doesn't wear pants. But all dogs don't wear pants, so their penis is always out. And they're like, you know when they lie on their back, their penis is all willy-nilly? You know, like their willy is nilly. Oh, lying there. And if I was in someone's house, and I didn't wear pants, and I had a penis, I wouldn't just sit there naked, exposing myself like that, and I wouldn't poop on their carpets, right? Just because they're like, oh, like nothing's preventing this. I could poop in your carpets. I'm a dog. I could speak English. They just say that. You know what? You know what I think we should do? We should make dogs wear pants, so every time they go to poop on your carpet, they just shit themselves. Who's laughing now? They get all embarrassed, move to a different school. That's what they do. Anyways, dogs, I don't like when they have penises because when they sit on your lap, their penis just rests on your lap like that. And the thing, it just rests there, and you're like, what do I do with this, you know? It's not sexual at all. I think that's what pisses me off because if you're in a line, everyone's really close, and everyone's naked, by the way, and they all have penises. The guy's really close to you with his penis, and he just starts humping you like crazy. You have every right to go, hey, what the fuck? Stop humping me. Disney World's not going anywhere. This is not going to help our situation at all. But if the guy, and because like he's just humping you, you could just tell him to stop. But if the guy just comes up behind you and his penis just barely grazes your butt, and it's not sexual at all, it just grazes your butt, you can't just be like, hey, hit him off. You just go, excuse me, sir, your dick is in my ass. Only thing you could say, excuse me, sir, could you stop dick spanking me? I'm ending on that note.
Okay, let's have another round of applause for Kyle. Okay, our next comedian is from IC Stand Up. Please welcome the very funny Ben Wagner.
How you guys doing? I just want to be very clear for when you Google me later and find nothing, it's Ben Wieger. So when you're going to waste your time later tonight trying to see if I've done anything important, it's Wieger. Not that you speak into Google, but if you did, that'd be great. So did anyone watch the Super Bowl? Giants, Patriots? Yeah, I wasn't that excited either. But I will say, I really want to see the conversation that the two producers had when they were coming up with the idea for the halftime show. Because one goes to the other, you know what I think? Madonna. And it was a great idea. Everyone is going to love it. And then he's like, wait, she can't just walk out there. It's Madonna. I have an idea. What about half-naked Trojan men pull her out in a Skyrim outfit? And the other was like, yes. Where do you come up with this? And that's how Fox and NBC work. Two guys making bad ideas and then agreeing and then forcing it down our throats. And I have to watch it because it's in between the Super Bowl. All right. You didn't watch it? Whatever. What I really don't like about the Super Bowl is it's all between the teams, it's also played up where you can't say anything bad about the other team. I don't know any sports fans, but I don't want my quarterback telling their quarterback, oh, he's so great. I bet he could beat our team. He's really, really good. I want him to say mean, hateful things. I want Eli Manning, what do you think about Tom Brady and the Patriots? I think Tom Brady has sex with dogs. I don't think he can beat us. I think he's a girl. And then, but usually it's just, oh, yeah, it's really good. And then, Tom Brady, what do you think of Eli Manning? I think his mom is so ugly, and I was really going to say very hurtful and mean things about Eli Manning's mom, but I want to be on the website, so I'm not going to say those things. But I did think of very funny things, just to let you know. But the worst experience with the Super Bowl is when you're sitting down and there's a certain kind of girl behind you. Because there's girls who care about sports and they understand it, and that's fine. And there's girls who don't care about sports and don't understand it, and that's fine, and they stay home. But then there's girls who don't understand sports but really like to pretend that they do. And it's really easy to spot them because they say things like this. I'm a big fan of Eli Manning and the Giants. You don't need the first part. Have you ever heard a girl say, oh, I really like Tom Brady and the Patriots? Just because you want to fillet Tom Brady doesn't mean you get to sit behind me for all 4 quarters and yell in my ear about, what's fourth down? Who's going to kick it? And what's this? What is that? Yeah, Giants win. No Giants fans either? Okay. So, but it's tough to be a girl. It is. I don't know from experience, but from what I hear from my girlfriends, it sucks. And it's mostly because they're on the wrong end of the penis. Because when I look at my penis, the front looks great. It's really professional. It's all business in the front, but the back, how do you guys look at that? It's like stitched up, and it's just like the hair that I can't get all the way off. It's just awful. Goes backwards in age. So one day, me and my wife are married, and we're about 60, and then we get a 90-year-old guy to live with us, but he ages backwards. So it's like the opposite of having a kid. Like, he gets younger, and we get happier and get more money. So all this happiness and money is coming. He's getting younger, and then eventually he gets little enough where the doctor comes and puts him into my wife, like a reverse birth. Like, he just sticks him back in there. And then we take him home, and then my wife slowly digests him. And then I get laid. And that's how a Benjamin Button kid works. Thank you. Let's see. So I was in my dorm, and I was playing solitaire. And that's when you know you don't have any friends, but you like cards. So I physically was playing solitaire with the real cards, not like internet shit. I was laying out the cards, and then I got like halfway through, and then I realized, oh my God, I think I lost. But then the most amazing thing happened. I took the next card, and I kept playing. And that makes you a freaking jerk. If you've ever cheated in solitaire, you are some kind of egomaniac. You're playing a game by yourself, and it's a card, and it means nothing. But I was like, I'm going to win. I will win this game for me. All 52 of these cards will witness it. And that's what being a jerk feels like. I don't know what fuel I have to do that, but anyways. And then, but to be a hypocrite, just because that's what I like to do, I hate when my friends are overly competitive. Like, we go to Starbucks, and I'm like, can I have a coffee, cream and sugar? And then my friend goes, oh, I drink my coffee black. Like, are you better than me? Do you like the taste of baby diarrhea, Mr. Folgers? What do you care if I like sugar in my coffee? And it's all sorts of stuff. It's also like, how many hours of sleep you got last night? Oh man, I was up so late. I got like 5 hours sleep. Yeah, I got 3 hours. I never sleep, actually. I've never slept. Do you think I'm cool now? Can I hang out with you? Will you invite me somewhere? No, because you look like you need some sleep. And finally, I was at a restaurant with a couple friends, and I was like, I got a hot dish, like spicy hot. It was also temperature hot, but it was spicy hot. And I was like, oh, I really like spicy foods. And my friend goes, oh, I love spicy foods. I'll drink a whole bottle of Tabasco right now. I'm like, no, because I'd like some. Like, what are you, challenging me? And then my other friend's like, yeah, I'll shove a whole bottle of Tabasco sauce up my butt and do a handstand. I guess now you're winning. And then the egoist I am, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should win. And then I said, I like to eat too much Chipotle and have bloody diarrhea. That's my time.
All right, our next performer is a member of Comedy Club. Please welcome Max Levine.
You guys have a great dick. Wow, look at that. Just the greatest dick. Wow. Did you zoom in on that penis? That is nice dick. I have not performed here in a while. It's been a while since I've been at the pub. A lot of people are asking, like, what are you doing, Max? What's all this all about? And I just tell them straight up, I am doing nothing. I am doing absolutely nothing with my time, as if there's like some huge secret behind it. I am literally the worst game of Clue ever. Max Levine, in the Snuggie, with the bong, watching Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, in his underwear, again, today. I think there's like 3 things in Clue? No, 7. Parties. Yes. So, parties are sort of weird for me. I get very weird at parties. I'm not a very social person anymore. I don't know. I feel it's because I'm not as assertive as I used to be. And I don't know what that is. I feel like bros have that quality, though. Bros are very, very assertive people. You can't be a bro and not be assertive. That's like taking the phrase, chug, 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 and reducing it to, no, it's okay. Take your time. I promised I was never, ever going to tell this joke, but I will. So Overbrook Entertainment and Jay-Z signed a deal to produce an Annie remake starring Willow Smith as the first Black Annie, which will be, I think, will be very interesting because it's the first time in which Annie doesn't leave the orphanage. Great. Well, what do I have here? I need so many friends tonight. I've never done impressions before, but I'm gonna try one. This impression of mine is called. Do you guys ever watch The Magic School Bus? It's the greatest show ever. If you watch that when you're stoned, it's just a bunch of kids just doing the weirdest shit, like going through space and like going into like a small intestine, and they're just like commenting on things. They're just like, wow, this is fucking weird. Like, why am I whatever? But this is my impression of Carlos from The Magic School Bus 20 years later. Hey, Ralphie, it's me, Carlos, man. I bought the bus from a police auction. The frizz left 30 pounds of crystal in the back. Remember when we went inside that girl's intestine? That was crazy. You got any weed, May? That was Carlos doing that. What am I gonna do? I really like the show Static Shock. I think it is a pretty cool show because it is the first show with a cool black superhero. First one ever. Don't even try to argue with me. First cool black superhero ever. And as such, they needed to make him urban. That was the theme of Static Shock. We need to make this show as urban as possible. What can we do to make it urban? 3, 4 guys sat around a table. What can we do to make Static Shock urban? How are we going to do this? First guy goes, hey, I have an idea. He has like this really cool pair of shades and like jerry curls, and that's great. That's urban, right? Like, no, that's not. It's not that urban. You can do better than that. Like, let's try a little harder. How about he listens to CDs because he's an electric man. He's an electricman, and he can listen to CDs with the power of his fingers. I guess kids like CDs, but no, it's not a. Ralph, you've been very quiet over there. What are? Oh yeah, I've just been eating this sandwich. So what if we have the Static Man flying on a manhole cover, and it's just got shit all over it, and it's just awful, and he's flying all through his shitty little town. Not only is that urban, that's borderline racist, sir. We have a show. That's great. And that is how it's done. Just don't have a whole lot to say. Peace.
Okay, so our next comedian is a star on the YouTube and a writer for Backstage Comedy. Please welcome Sean Leary.
Hey, nerds. So clocks are weird, right? They're so condescending. They're all like, I can tell time and shit. I'm better than you. And I'm like, how are you talking? You're a clock. How can you do that? So anyway, it's hard to admit that I like Nickelback because I don't like Nickelback. That's why it's hard to admit. I asked my friend, what's your favorite type of laundry detergent? She said, Shout. I said, what's your favorite type of laundry detergent? Bitch. Women. Anyway, I'd like to do a few impressions now. This is Jerry Seinfeld. What is up with ranch dressing? Where is this ranch? I'm not a farmer. And what's up with Italian? I'm not in Italy. I'm in America. I want American dressing. What's up with that? And creamy Italian? Ew. No. I don't even like normal Italians, let alone creamy ones. Let's keep it clean for the children. And Thousand Island, give me a break. I just want to go to one island. Slow down. What if I don't want to go to 1,000 islands? Do you know how much that would cost me in traveling expenses? Forget about it. Thank you. Oh, also, you guys want to see my Rodney Dangerfield impersonation? He's dead. Too soon? Today I was driving down the road, and I saw a sign that said, motorcycles are everywhere. And I was like, no shit. Tell me something I don't know. And sure enough, the next road sign said, you have crabs. You learn new things every day. That's what I always... So, Curious George is a really bad show, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because, like, the man in the yellow hat, like, he seems like a pretty nice guy, you know, like he's a 30 to 40-year-old man, I wager. But his roommate is a fucking monkey. I have a problem with this. Because, like, it's not like they can split the rent, am I right? You know? So, because, like, you can't afford it in this economy. The economy's bad. It's bad. And, you know, you got Curious George over there going like, and then you got the man in the yellow hat like, good one, George. And then, like, the man in the yellow hat's friends are like, what the fuck? And the man in the yellow hat's like, what, you don't speak monkey? Losers. And also, you got to remember that Curious George is a liability, because the man in the yellow hat goes to take a shit. Curious George goes off and fucks up the whole city. It's like he's not even done washing his hands, and he gets like a call from the chief, I guess that's what you call him. He gets a call from the chief like, yeah, so George, he kind of started a fucking riot again. Can you like call his name, maybe tell him to stop? We got the SWAT team in here, like, trying to contain him, and it's not working. Please help. Yeah. I dated this one girl, and I gotta say, she wasn't a looker, because she was blind and ugly. People ask all the time, Sean, do you take drugs? And I'm like, no, I pay for them. I'm a nice guy. You don't know me. So the other day I was in church, and I looked up and I saw one of the altar boys holding up the cross, and I was like, wow, let it go. I mean, talk about living in the past. Get a fucking life. Anywho's. Yeah, so the other day I was in the dining hall, and at the table next to me, I heard some kids say, and I quote, yeah, so aren't you afraid of, like, if you're eating wings, that you're gonna, like, put one of the wings in your mouth, and then, like, when you take it back out, it's gonna go back to its original form as a wing with, like, feathers and shit? And, like, I slowly turned to him, and I was like, small world. Finally, somebody had to say it. You guys ever hear of the San Francisco Gay Softball League? No? Well, it's basically 3 of their players were kicked off of the team for being found out as heterosexuals, and I feel like that would have been a really awkward coaches meeting, like, yeah, so our starting pitcher won't be playing tonight. What? Why? Well, he likes the pussy. Not in my backyard. Okay, clap. Now.
All right, you guys ready for more comedy? Yeah? Okay, let's keep it going for Comedy Club Presidente, Danny Gendron.
Thanks, friends. Those are my 4 best friends in the whole world over there booing me. Hey, if you guys are still sitting here, give yourselves a round of applause. Because you guys stuck it out. This has been a long night. It's been fun. No one, if you guys are sitting here not facing the stage working on your computers, also give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Maroon Sweater Girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone give her a round of applause. She either arrived here and said, I'm going to sit here and work, or she was working and a show sprung up around her. And she said, well, I was here first. Me and my maroon sweater. Okay. So, as Emily mentioned, I'm the comedy club president, and as such, I'm very interesting. And the Ithacan is doing a story on me. Like, it's happening right now. And I'm under a lot of pressure to seem like I'm worth writing a story about. I'm trying to like spice up my life, so I'm more interesting. I really want, like, she's like, I want to like see you hanging out with your friends. So I want to like take her to my friend's apartment and have them mid-disposal of a dead body. And like they drop and go, oh God, Dan, what are you doing here? Who is she? Who is she? Get her on the ground. Get her on the ground. Put her face on the ground. I want to find someone that owes me money and stab them to death. And then do a bump of cocaine off of the knife that I stabbed them to death with. Basically, I just want my life to turn into the movie Training Day. I'm Denzel, obviously. obviously. So that makes her Ethan Hawke, and at the end, she has to kill me, and Ava Mendes is freaking out. Is it Ava Mendes or Rosario Dawson in that movie? It's Ava Mendes. I cannot tell them apart. I can't. It's not like a race thing. It's not like I can't tell Latina girls apart because that's like a weird thing. Like I can't tell lots of people apart. I can't tell Kristen Bell and Malin Ackerman. No idea. I think Malin Ackerman's the one I want dead. I think. And I can't tell the difference between Channing Tatum and raw beef hanging from a hook. Can't do it. Can't do it. So I'm a television major, and as such, I watch a lot of commercials. And one of the strangest ad campaigns that exists is for Charmin toilet paper, because their sole selling point is that it doesn't leave chunks of paper in your ass. That's the whole business model of Charmin toilet paper. Every one of their commercials is that it's like the baby bear is like, oh, I'm a baby bear and I'm going to take a shit and I used the wrong kind of toilet paper. Now I'm done. And dad's like, oh, there's my baby. What the fuck? Junior, show me your ass. Show me your, don't you fucking, show me your ass. And that's weird. I think Aiden is the new name of choice for people who suck. Like, if you see a gross white trash woman with her hair pulled back too tight screaming at her child in a McDonald's, kid's probably named Aiden. I bet. Laughed someone who hates Aidens over there. She was like, oh, I totally get that. It's a niche joke, guys. You notice how I didn't know if it was niche or niche, so I did both. So it's a niche joke, guys. It's a niche joke. So I work at a sushi restaurant, and that's just an endless source of interesting stories. But one thing in particular is I've noticed there are 3 kinds of people in this world who eat sushi. There's normal, polite people like you or I who act cordially and civilly when out in public. Then there are people who have had sushi before, and as such, think they're the only people who have ever had sushi. They go with a group of people, and someone orders like, oh, I'll have a California roll, please. Oh, bro, you know that's a California roll? That's like the McDonald's of sushi. No, they don't even have that in Japan. All they eat in Japan is sea urchin's asshole. That's all. He'll have some sea urchin's asshole, please. Shut up! He'll have sea urchin's asshole, please. The 3rd kind of person, clapping for sea urchin's asshole. Hey, you come to sushi all the time. You're like my best friend there. I hate that kid. So, no, dude, no. No, you always tip like 12%. It's cool. What was I saying? The 3rd person who comes to sushi are old people who seem offended by the mere concept of sushi. They walk in and they just don't like it from the start. They like see folded cranes and they're like, I thought that's where we dropped the bomb. This is them, you guys, not me. I once had this old guy, the whole family, the old couple that was there, they're like, we want to try sushi, but we don't want raw fish. Get the fuck out! Get out of my restaurant. One time, we have this curtain that's instead of a door that separates the kitchen and the main dining room, there's a curtain. So when you're holding food, you have to duck under the curtain so the curtain doesn't dip into the food. And this old man watched me do this all night, and finally he called me over and said, come here. How do you feel about these people making you bow under that curtain every time you walk through? Whoa. Let's take a look at the inferences he made here. 1, these people are Japanese. Side note, these people are not Japanese. They're Korean. But you're not supposed to know that. So, okay. Japanese, number 2, sees me dipping under a curtain. 3, assumes it's a feudal system and I must kowtow before delivering the food. So thank you, white man who runs whatever the opposite of the ACLU is. Thank you, I'm Danny Gendron.
All right, guys. Our next comedian, when she's not cracking us up at comedy club, is dancing like a ninja. Please welcome Kristen Shepard.
That's how I do. All right. So, I'm a short human. So, it's Black History Month, and guess who's black? Morgan Freeman. But really, where are my black people at? Is there one, two, one, two? Okay, we got it. Winston doesn't count. No. No. We're representing. But, okay. I love college, but the one thing I hate is that there's no privacy. Like, if I want to talk on the phone to my doctor, you know, if I don't want my roommates to hear it, if I go to the lounge, like, the people who live on the edge of the lounge will hear me. So, like, I'm just on the phone wandering around campus, like, yeah, and then it started oozing. Yeah, bonus? Yeah, okay. Like, there's no place you can just talk privately. So I was watching, so I think it was the MTV Awards, and Nicki Minaj won an award. And she was thanking all of these rappers, but they had literally the most, like, out there names you could think of. She was like, yo, DJ Pasta Sandwich. Couldn't have done it without you. MC Chicken Swirl. Master Concubine Nugget. You got me started, man. Like, I love you. I was like, what? Really? Like, the most weird names you could think of, that was their name. It's like, did you really put a lot of thought into that? Really? So, I am a victim of word vomit. A lot. It's like my brain gets ahead of my mouth, and then whatever comes out, comes out. So, I go to Subconnection with my friends, and I didn't have any money. So I was like, oh, can you get me a blow pop? And he said yes. So I got really excited, and I go to my friend, I go, he's gonna get me a blowjob! And as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, no, get back in. Kind of like an actual blowjob. But like as soon as I said it, I was like, blowjob, well, bye, and just ran out, like went to the elevator and just started like laughing and crying. And I was like, well, I can never show my face in there for about a week. That's my life. So I like to listen to rap music, and my most current find is Rack City. And you know how like you listen to your iPod and like it's the soundtrack to your life? I kind of forget that I am actually not the baddest bitch around. So you know, I'm walking to class, I'm like, Rack City, Rack City, Rack City, Rack City. And then I'm like, oh wait, walking down some terraces. That is not cool, okay. And then I'm like, well, awkward. Over break, I was omegling like a beast. And if you don't know what omegle is, it's like a ghetto chat roulette. But the funny thing was, these people will say anything to get you naked. Like literally, I had like my ankle on the camera, like the side of my face, and they were like, girl, you the hottest thing I've ever seen. I was like, really? Really? You can't even see my boobs. Like, how do you know what I look like? Can you really tell that from my ear? Really? Go home. When I like get into a lot of arguments and stuff, and so I find that the best way to win arguments is to just throw out a random threat, and they're like, what did you just say? And I'm like, yeah, that's right, I just won this. Argue with my friend, and I go, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna rip out your spinal cord and use your spinal fluid as conditioner. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, exactly. You got no comeback for that. And another thing I've said is, I want to remove your kidneys and place them with anacondas. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you with this. My name's Kristen, and if you mess with me, I'm going to take out your eyes and use them as a ping pong ball. Bye.
Oh, Kristen. Okay, next up, we have from IC Stand-Up, Joe Messina. Messina. There he is.
Yeah. Yeah, my name's Joe Messina. It's kind of a weird name, like, she just got it wrong. I thought about coming up with a stage name, actually. And I was thinking about other people who have done that, like Weird Al Yankovic. I went with Weird Al, because that's like what people called him when he was younger, like in school. So I was thinking about my childhood nicknames. I realized I don't think I can get away with calling myself Faggot. Please welcome to the stage, faggot, hippie, stoner freak, Messina. This is weird. When you're on stage, you're supposed to play to the whole room. But I was thinking, like, when I was a kid, they called me a faggot. But, like, I was thinking, with this here, do I have to, like, put that into the mix? Like, when I was a kid, they called me a faggot. Faggot. I am straight, though. Non-practicing. But I was raised straight, so I still identify with that. Yeah, it hasn't been going well. I just got out of a long relationship, and that wasn't going well, and now isn't going well either, so I don't know what, I can't really figure it out. Every time I talk to a girl, I feel like I should apologize to her. It's like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have had to hear that. And I was telling this to my friend, my female friend, because I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them. It's good. But I was telling this to her, and she was like, "No, Joe, you shouldn't feel that way. You're funny and mysterious." I was like, "Wait, mysterious? Where's the mysterious part?" When I'm like, "Hey, where are you? What's your name? Cool. Where's the mystery?" It's mysterious how bad you are at this. You're basically an adult and you relate to women like you're 14. That's so mysterious. I don't even have good dreams about girls. Like, people go off about, like, yeah, sex dreams and, like, she was so whatever, like. And honestly, the last dream I had about a girl, she was like, yeah, I don't think I should get involved in something right now. You're a really nice guy, but, like, I've been really busy and I'm not in a good place emotionally, but we can be friends. Like, in my dream, where anything could happen, that's what I choose to have happen. Like, I don't need to go to sleep for that. I don't need to imagine this is happening. That's the girl of my dreams. Wonder what's down here. I don't know what to say to girls. I never figured it out. Well, really, I just don't know what to say to anyone. Like, because people meet each other and they're like, "What's your major?" I'm like, I don't care. Like, I want to meet people and be like, "Isn't death weird?" It's like, you're like this being that's like made of stuff, that's animated, and you can like move around and do things, and you do that for a while, and then you just stop existing one day. It's crazy. No one wants to talk about that. That's my problem. We had Christmas recently. If you didn't notice, it's called the transition. What? Whoa! It's called the transition. Speaking of girls, when I was alone on Christmas, I was thinking about this. No, at some point your parents have to explain to you that Santa's not real, which is never fun. But I was thinking it must be much harder in like a really religious family, right? Because like they'll have to sit them down and it's like, all right, we need to have a talk. It's time you knew that Santa's not actually a real guy. We made him up. It's just a fun little story. But yes, Jesus, the only Son of God, born of a virgin. Of course he's real. But the flying reindeer thing, honestly, we thought you'd figure that out sooner. What's that? Oh, yes, the flying dead people with wings. The angels are real because they're in the Bible. And, you know, while we're at it, there's no boogeyman. Like, that's not real, so don't worry about that. Sleep easier at night. But, yes, the Antichrist is real, and he will reign terror over the earth through 1,000 years of darkness in the end times. You're growing up now. It's time you knew the difference between real and make-believe. Thank you.
Okay, we have one comedian left, guys. One comedian. He is the most recent winner of the stand-up competition. He's a wonderful person. His name is John Horan.
Hello, everybody. So, when I was little, I used to go up to my mom and say, "What's for dinner?" And she would say, "Chicken Parmigiani," and then chase me around and put me in the oven. That's a story. So classes started a few weeks ago, and at the beginning they do attendance, and they never know how to say my name. It's not that bad. They normally just say like John Horan instead of Haran, and I'm like whatever. But this year I hear John Haru, and I was like, how the fuck do you miss the N? But then I take a look to the left, and I see some kid raise his hand, and I am just in amazement right now, and I look at him like. And he has no idea what's going on and is just like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? And then I just point and I said, wait for it, point to the professor, and he goes, John Horan? And I said, what? And everyone in that class hates me now, especially John Haru. So what else? I'm going to tell you about a place that I used to work at, and it was, I shouldn't end my sentences in prepositions, sorry. A place where I used to work. And it was garden golf and go-karts, and it was a wonderful place. Oh yeah, garden golf. Did someone clap? I don't know. And there was a rack of balls, very colorful in the front, and little kids used to go up to me, and they go like, oh, look at all the balls. What color should I get? What do you recommend? And this was my favorite part of the job. I got to say, well, I don't recommend blue balls. Little kids eat that shit up, let me tell you. Let's see, another story from garden golf and go-karts is one time there was a guy acting up in the arcade, and my manager was like, John, I want you to go take care of this. This guy's getting really feisty. You might have to fight him. He's like really acting up. And I was like, I can handle this. She's like, go out there, punch him in the dick. And I was like, okay. She was crazy. She legitimately said that. So I go out, and I'm a pussy. So I was like, oh, could you please get out? And like, he did it, surprisingly. But I got him out there just talking to him, and I was so proud of myself. I strutted in the back. And she's like, so, did you punch him in the dick? And I was like, yeah, with my mouth. She's like, you just sucked that guy's dick? Yeah. Whatever. I suck dick. I don't work there anymore. Get over it. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I was thinking the other day. You guys ever notice how, like, cats clean themselves, but pussies don't? That's weird. I noticed that the other day. Let's see, I was researching monkeys recently because that's what I do, and I came across a type of monkey. They're called bonobo monkeys. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're very sexual monkeys. And one thing that I learned about them is when they're in like a confrontation, to calm down the other monkey, they'll actually jack them off. This is fact. This is something I read. And I know that, yeah, this is true. And like, I feel like I know that humans have evolved from monkeys, but I think we've devolved in the sense that we don't do this. All right? Like, picture it like, yo, you looking at my girl? Dude, calm down, it's gonna be okay. Good, you better not be looking at my girl. Oh, fuck. And like, every conflict would be resolved. Like, I mean, I'd be picking fights constantly, but that's different. I mean, just imagine, there would be no war. There would be orgies, and everything would be fantastic. Like, no war on oil, war on semen. Thank you, I am John Horan. Have a fantastic evening.
Well, guys, we are all out of comedians. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Let's get one more round of applause for everyone who went up here tonight. Again, we are Backstage Comedy. Make sure to check out our webisodes online and have a wonderful night.